For those of you who are familiar with the process of saving that forest, there was, as part of this massive effort, was a project mounted by Susan McCaslin, a phenomenal poet, and her husband is an environmental lawyer, both of them living in Fort Langley. And she created an event called the Han Shan Project. Are you familiar with that tradition? It comes from China and it has existed for probably millennia. And it comes from people writing from their hearts in honor of the natural world. And they write their poetry on small pieces of course then biodegradable paper, and hung in the branches of the trees and the bushes and flowers that they wish to honor, and in this case, to save. So here we are, something along the lines of about 14 months later, and yes, we have won.
Didn't they take a small portion of it and decided to just leave the rest of it just the way it is?
What happened in the end is that at the 11th and a half hour, finally it was decreed that the city of Fort, or I guess it was the district of Fort Langley, would be allowing half of the acreage to be developed and the other half not. Well, in for a penny, in for a pound. And it continued the process and got people on board like David Suzuki and and Robert Bateman.
Robert Bateman,
Yes,
yeah.
And so it was all about drawing attention to the profound importance of this area. So between those efforts and those of the community and scientists and the arts community, and a $1 million donation by a woman who honored her husband in the way to purchase the last part of that property to ensure that it would be intact for perpetuity. And the entire property was donated to Trinity Western University to hold in trust as a very gently handled area for study. So it's pretty amazing. Yeah. So in the fluttering in the branches of those trees are still the remnants of 250 poems from people all around the world who lent their hearts and minds and words to this project.
I saw a photo of them all hanging, all strung to the trees. It was magnificent.
It was awesome.
It's brilliant.
It was awesome.
So this was the piece that I actually donated to the project, and it's called The Hungry Heart. Set for me a table within this sacred grove, where I may gorge remorseless upon this lush insanity of life, this cacophony of chlorophyll that insists on wild excess. Let me lap the honeyed summer wind, tongue lolling, eyes gone mad. Let me lick the light from virgin leaves, a heady gold ambrosia slipped from the cup of God. And when I've eased my hungry heart, I'll burrow down, turn once, turn twice, and dream of running with the wolves through urban canyons, stark and spare.